pretty common knowledge that chameleons are animals that are fairly easily stressed. But what you may not know is what the signs of a stressed chameleon are. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. Now, I just want to preface all this by saying that just because your chameleon is showing one of these symptoms or one of these signs that could potentially mean stress doesn't mean that it is being caused by stress. And each of these behaviors could be caused by a multitude of reasons. And I'm actually working my way through all of these, going through them as individual videos to explain why these behaviors may or may not be happening with your chameleon. So I just want to keep that in mind when we're going through this. Just because your chameleon is a darker color doesn't mean that they're stressed. It could be for a bunch of different reasons, you know? That's what I'm trying to get at. So 3 big reasons why your chameleon could be getting stressed out in the first place is 1, they're brand new. So they're still getting adjusted to their home, which means they need time and space to just leave them alone, let them do their thing, and get acquainted to their new environment. Second big reason is that their enclosure is not set up correctly. That could be the incorrect lights. The enclosure is too small, not enough hiding places, not enough things to climb on. I have tons and tons of chameleon care videos, including one that step-by-step shows you how to build a chameleon enclosure correctly. So I'm gonna link that up above here and in the description box below. And the third and final big reason is because of human interaction, because of us. We are stressing out our chameleons. We are these big, scary creatures that could potentially eat our chameleons, and they don't know otherwise, right? They don't know that we love them and care for them and would never do that. So keep that in mind as well. There are obviously other stressors for a chameleon. You know, if you have pets, that could be something. You know, there's a bunch of different reasons. Those are the 3 biggies. So let's get into some of the signs of a stressed chameleon. So one that's pretty obvious is color change. That's kind of what chameleons are known for, right? Changing their colors. So contrary to popular belief, it's not for camouflage, it's a way for them to communicate. So when a chameleon is feeling stressed out, their colors will change. And it kind of goes one or 2 ways. A chameleon that is not feeling threatened is going to be in this moderate, pretty mild color range. And then if they're feeling stressed out, it's going to go one of 2 ways. They're either going to get very dark and dull colors, or they're going to get very bright colors. And that's them feeling stressed out, either trying to kind of shut down stress or trying to be bright and show up as threatening stress. And so if your chameleon is a darker color, that could be one of the reasons why they're a darker color. There are a bunch of reasons why they could be, but stress is certainly one of them. And if they're a brighter color, that could also mean that they're getting the spots. You see that a lot with baby field chameleons. They're getting super, super bright, and this is known as fired up, or their fired up colors is kind of what people refer to them as, and those are actually stress colors when the chameleon is feeling threatened, and so they're starting to get defensive. And when we think about stress and defensive behaviors, some other things that we'll typically see with the stressed chameleon is gaping, so opening their mouths. That could be a sign they're feeling stressed. If they're puffing up the little spot underneath their chin, that could also be. If they're hissing or trying to bite you, this is all signs of a chameleon who is freaking out and feeling stressed. It's not them being aggressive, it's not them being mean, it's them being absolutely terrified and trying to defend themselves against you. Closed eyes during the day can also be a sign of stress. Chameleons do not take naps, they do not sleep during the day, they will only sleep at night with all their lights off. So if your chameleon is closing its eyes during the day, that's typically a sign of stress. It could also be sickness, and I do have a whole video on why are my chameleon's eyes closed, so I'll link that up above here and in the description box below, because with all these behaviors, there's a couple different reasons why they could be happening. But if their eyes are closed and they're on your arm, that for sure is a sign of stress. Their body is starting to shut down because they're so scared of you. If it's in their enclosure, then maybe we need to look at different environmental things that could be causing that behavior, or they're still new and getting adjusted to their enclosure. Either way, this is not normal behavior, and you need to troubleshoot and figure out what the cause is and make corrections as needed. A lot of chameleons are pretty scared of humans and pretty scared of us, which means a stressed out chameleon is probably going to be trying to hide from you. So an important thing is that we provide lots of hiding opportunities for our chameleon. That means tons of branches and tons of plants. The golden rule is if you can look inside the enclosure and easily spot your chameleon, then they probably don't have enough places to hide. Now, if you have lots of branches and plants and opportunities for them to hide, then your chameleon can choose to go into a safe space where they're not out in the open and they can feel protected and secure. So if your chameleon is trying to hide from you, or it's like wrapping itself around the branch, like that is a big sign that your chameleon is stressed out and trying to hide from you. Another thing a stressed out chameleon will do is curl its tail. Now, if it's nighttime, that is a normal sleeping behavior, but if it's daytime, a curled tail typically can mean a stressed out chameleon because they're trying to make themselves seem bigger and more threatening to predators. So if you're seeing that, again, it's not an immediate like curled tail equals stress, but if you're seeing it combined with the brighter colors, with the puffed up chin, then those are all things that can kind of tell you that, hey, my chameleon's feeling stressed. What can I do to help alleviate that? And along with the defensive behavior with the gaping and the hissing, chameleons will sometimes do this like rock back and forth thing, which is kind of like them kind of lunging at you, especially if you're trying to put your hand in there or trying to get near them, then they could do that, and that's just them like getting ready to go to battle, you know, to protect themselves. Now, if your chameleon's just walking, they do this thing that's called a leaf walk, and they kind of do this little as they're walking. That's different than this like lunging back and forth movement. What I'm saying is it's coupled with the like gaping and hissing and the fired up bright colors. That is like a super stressed out chameleon. A chameleon that's just taking its sweet time walking on a branch, you know, or going towards its food, that's normal. The chameleons do that to try and imitate a leaf as to not attract attention from predators. If your chameleon isn't eating, this could also be a sign of stress. So I would check out my video, Why Isn't My Chameleon Eating? I know, such a great title. And you can check that out up above here or in the description box below. There are a multitude of reasons why your chameleon isn't eating, but one of them could be stress, and it could be because they're still getting adjusted to their new home. As you can see, there are tons of different signs, symptoms, characteristics, however you want to think about it, of a stressed out chameleon. The best thing that you can do is have an enclosure that is set up correctly from top to bottom. I'm talking lights, you know, UVB, branches, tons and tons of plants, the correct size, humidity, supplementation. Like if your care is on point and you have a mutual respect and understanding that these are animals that do best when left alone, and it's not very common to be able to handle your chameleon all the time. There are exceptions, but more often than not, they do best when left alone. Then your chameleon will have a long, healthy life. But if we're constantly putting our chameleons under stress, like we as humans don't feel great when we're under stress, right? That takes a toll on our bodies. Same thing with our little chameleon friends. So we need to do whatever we can in our power to make sure that we try and limit that as much as possible. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave any questions or comments down below. Feel free to subscribe so you know when I post a new video, and you can follow Neptune and all my chameleons on social media at Neptune the Chameleon. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye! Knowing Luna, she's gonna hold it there for like 5 minutes. You gonna chew it? No.